We had a blast at StarCast 6. A huge thank you to everyone who attended. And if you want to relive our stage show experience, you can with Premier Streaming Network. Over 20 stage shows took place StarCast weekend. From comedy shows, design panels, musical performances, talk shows, and more. Including a live edition of AEW Unrestricted with CEO Tony Khan. Sign up for Premier Streaming Network today and check out the shows available now on demand and in HD. And if you sign up today, you'll get 2 months free of Premier Plus. Enjoy the amazing lineup of content that Premier Streaming Network offers, including all 5 previous StarCast stage show lineups. Hundreds of hours of fantastic wrestling content at your fingertips. Visit StarCastOnPremiere.com.
Legacy that's long. That's the legend of the Armstrongs. Questions get answered. Oh, you didn't know? Let's start the show.
Welcome back to the show. It's Road Dogg and Casio, and you are listening to another edition of
Oh, you didn't. Oh, you didn't. Oh, you didn't know? I had to go low. Like, oh, you didn't know?
Very polite. Oh, there we go. There it is.
Oh, were you aware?
What is up, dog?
Hello. Oh, man, that picture of you is uncanny.
And
Crusher
who was that
Blackwell.
again?
Crusher Blackwell.
Crusher Blackwell. It looks like if me and Conrad had a baby.
So, I want to go back 9 months and talk about
what was going down.
All that. You know what I'm saying? All that.
Oh.
All that. Aaron Neville, Neville. He said Aaron Neville. That was Aaron Neville. Yes. I sang it. Yeah, I sang it when I said, oh, you didn't know. What was the songs he sang where he did?
And I don't know much, but I know I love you. And that may be all I need to know.
We are horrible together, but man, I love it.
Did I just hear Dom laugh? Is he still?
I think so. I think he's still in the chat. I actually hope that was him laughing.
Yeah,
I could use a laugh track at this point.
He did. He forgot to mute.
Yeah.
How are you doing, dog?
Man, I'm doing great. We just came off of a YTX YouTube exclusive that we record. We laid down some tracks. You and I harmonized a little bit. We talked about this. We talked about that. We talked about everything except a baseball bat. And you know what I mean? So we were flowing and we were going, but our show's not growing. So what I wanted to do was talk to you.
It's growing.
I'm just kidding. It is growing by leaps and bounds, and we have you guys to thank for that, and that's a shoot. So thank you guys every time. And when we do those YTXs, we have those super chats open. A lot of you guys chime in there. We talk about you guys when you're not on the air with us, and so we appreciate you being a part of our day-to-day here at the Oh You Didn't Know broadcasting system.
Well, speaking of, let's get these in. We accidentally had a couple people who sent us a super chat.
Oh, that's right, John
ago.
C.
John C. told you to get nerds in your water at Sonic.
Yeah, go to Sonic and order water with nerds in it. And so I don't know if I did it right, but
right.
He told me to have a wide stance in the men's room, and then I don't know what went down. I'm just gonna say, why do you gotta laugh so hard? I'm trying to be serious. I'm trying to be super serial here.
I heard you say that. You told me to get a wide stance. You know what it means?
Well,
It's
I'll tell
just
you
there,
what.
you know?
The senator from Wisconsin does. I don't know. That could be the incorrect senator. I apologize to the senator from Wisconsin.
I always equate the bathroom senator to Iowa. I don't know if that's correct
Right.
either.
Don't know either.
But I think we're in the
I
same
like it.
vicinity because they're both up there.
Yeah.
They're in the
Corn.
Big Ten.
Corn.
Somewhere in the Big Ten, there's a senator who gets wide
Who
stances.
has a wide stance in the restroom. And that is a signal of sorts, I guess. I'm not sure. But I know I love you. I think I beat on your foot. Anywho.
Also on the super chat right before we went off and we missed it, and I've been saving it for you because Mick Mac hit us up and he loves his jokes.
Yes.
And
I love his jokes. Let's be
Yes.
honest with one another.
And his joke was, what do you call a pig that does karate? A pork chop.
Is it wrong for me to just start laughing like when the joke is prior to its completion? Like I already, there's a pig that does karate. So take a second and visualize. That's
Strong.
funny. You know what I mean? Like it's like Kung Fu Panda,
Does he have
only
a
with a
ninja
pig.
mask on?
You know?
Does he have
I
a
don't
ninja
know.
mask?
I'm
What do
not
you
sure.
think?
Did you see the Chris Farley vehicle?
Yes,
Beverly Hills Ninja.
Yeah. Could be looking like that.
Similar body styles is what I'm getting at.
I like that.
Yeah, I was thinking I was fat shamed Chris Farley, and I'm sorry. I feel horrible about that because I am a huge fan. And man, would I have loved to have done some blow with him.
Let's go to our meme of the week and keep this fun rolling. We always crank a meme out right here at the beginning of the show. Go ahead. What's our meme of the week? Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
Okay, now
And
let's
then
read the follow-up.
now it's a picture of you in business mode.
Right.
I understand you have not yet received the required information. I strongly suggest you contact someone regarding this matter.
I'm going to say
It's pretty strong.
theirs is strong. It's informative.
Yeah.
It's to the point. It sounds
yell?
professional. It sounds good. Nobody's yelling at nobody. There was no curse words in theirs.
Little wordy.
Man, mine's fun to say.
A little wordy though.
Yeah.
The new
It's
one.
thick. It's thick.
Yeah, yours got to the point.
Yeah. Theirs had girth. Mine does not. I had to finish. I wanted to finish that joke. I
Sure.
was finishing it. Damn it.
Sure.
God, if I'm not a sophomore in high school, I don't know what is. Mentally. Well, honestly, probably. I've been sober 12 years, almost 13. So literally, I'm 12 years
Mentally there. Yeah.
old. Emotionally and mentally, I'm 12. So.
And that's why we have so
Thanks for
much
that.
fun here.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you didn't know.
Yeah, because it's basically my mom's yelling at me from the basement. Ma, well, meatloaf.
Ow. All right, dog. We got a fun one today. We are going back and talking about another invasion you were a part of.
Oh.
When you were a part of
Kuwait.
TNA.
Oh.
And found out that the WWE
DNA.
was taping a commercial for an upcoming Royal Rumble.
Oh, I thought it was a Survivor Series, but yeah, Rumble makes more sense. Because I get it. I don't really. We talked earlier, and let's just be honest with everybody. I think I'm going to remember a lot of this.
Yeah.
But if I don't, we'll just make other jokes, and you can go back and watch it on video streaming.
Get ready for a
services.
lot of wide stances through this one. We'll throw up 20 more memes of the week if we need to.
Yeah.
But we're going to get through it.
I promise I'll try to be entertaining.
All right, dog. What
Right,
you
right.
remember about it? When were you told about this? What did you think of the idea? If you could put yourself back
it was a last minute deal because I remember we had to get down to we stayed down longer than I was supposed to do this shoot because we found out like literally the studio sound stage that TNA shot in was literally right next door to the sound stage that WWE was recording. They're like you just said, the Royal Rumble commercial, and all of the guys were there. And I don't know if you remember that one, but they were like, "Oh, when you're a shark, you're a shark." And I don't know how the thing goes, but you know what I'm talking about. The West Side Story.
Yeah, West Side Story. We're gonna get to that.
Yeah, that thing. So yeah, it was super cool, and we found out last minute, and we just thought, well, what are you going to do? Look, and Vinny Rue was writing in, and he kind of wrote us into some cool scenarios as DX. So this was kind of the same thinking, I believe. Whether it was a successful or not is to be debated, but not really debated. But you know, it was also on a smaller platform at the time. So we had some fun with it. We'll talk. You'll read your notes, and
Thank you, Derek.
and we'll see what happens.
You mentioned it, so let's get to it. It is reported in the Observer that the original plan was for Scott Hall and Kevin Nash to show up to invade the West Side Story Rumble commercial of Raw versus SmackDown.
Oh.
So you did hear that West Side Story invasion was going to happen?
I did not. That was above my pay grade. I was obviously Plan B. And truth be told, and look, I don't shoot at Plan B is not bad. To tell you the truth, that would have been a lot better than what we did.
The story was they turned it down because at this point they weren't working full time with TNA.
Yeah.
Does that seem like it checks out?
And they probably, well, and I can imagine them going like, yeah, we're not going to burn that bridge. We're not going to, kick them in the nuts over there. So excuse me, I didn't mean to say NVTS. Anyway.
Who you said Russo was writing here. I was going to ask who from TNA thought this was a good idea, but obviously Russo and a lot of people if it made it to you, right?
Look, I don't think it's a bad idea. It got us some material, and some was airable, and some was not, and so I think it did what it was set out to do. But what was it really set out to do? The same thing, same concept of me and Billy down there calling out Hunter and Sean, like they're not. What
was the end game? Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to answer, and so what are we doing here, and how do we get out of it, and do we look a little silly at the end of it? Like, yeah, well, they didn't they didn't bite, but it was content, and that's the name of the game. You know what I mean? Is putting hours and hours of content out there on a weekly basis, and so I don't know, man. It worked. It gave us content, and I dare I say entertaining content.
Do you remember Jeff or anybody? I just say Jeff because it's a name that was there and involved.
Yeah.
Do you remember anybody thinking it was a bad idea and trying to shut it down?
I wasn't at that level in TNA. That conversation would have happened way before I ever got a phone call. You know what I mean?
It got to you, it had already been discussed.
Oh yeah, it was already a done deal, and we're going with it. You know what I mean? Like, but I was already Plan B, for the love of God. You know, they already had travel set up.
Well, one of the guys involved is supposedly David Sahadi is who put it all together.
Yeah.
What is your experience with David and his history in WWE and then TNA?
So I've worked with him, and I worked with him now in Impact, for Impact, because that's what he's doing now is in the truck there. So I've worked with Dave on and off for a lot of years, and he's always been incredible at whatever he does. He used to be, I don't know if you remember the first time we ever did With My Baby Tonight, and it was Jeff singing it like in a bar atmosphere, and it was him lip syncing, and I want to say lip syncing because he didn't sing the song. I did. I sang it. But I also
has that been established?
I don't know if anybody knows that or not. So some new listeners, some people are new to the show. You know what I mean? So I got to tell them, like, go back and download
make
that.
Sure.
Yeah. But Zahadi was behind that, you know what I mean? The shooting and production of that. So he's a creative guy that works wonders behind the camera. So again, worked with him not long ago, in between employment. You know what I mean? We were, me and WWE were broke up at the time. And so I went up there and worked with Zahadi, but also worked with him on Ric Flair's last match. Because he was the guy then too, along with like we've talked about, Oh, now I forgot his name, and I'm thinking Jeremy Borash, but I mean
We had him on the show.
Josh Matthews.
Josh Matthews.
Yes, I got there.
You know, he's the guy who wrestles with the headgear on, right?
Yes. Super Death Machine, I think is in Japanese. I'm not sure.
The story is it's you with Tracy Brooks, who came with cookies.
Yeah.
Abyss with balloons, and Shane Douglas, who brought a microphone to interview Vince.
Yeah, that happened.
I just wanted to marinate with everybody what I just said. Abyss has balloons.
Yeah.
And you and Tracy Brooks have cookies.
Yep.
And Shane Douglas has a microphone.
Has a microphone because we're going to get an interview from Vince.
Obviously.
Yeah,
obviously.
That's what we're doing. And, you know, we actually did get so far as to see a couple of people that we had to end up blurring out, I think, to use on the show.
Oh, really? I was going to ask if you ever got anyone on WWE.
We did. And so I actually don't remember if it aired or not. But yeah, there were a couple people there. It was funny. I don't want to bury nobody now.
Was anybody hot at you? Do you remember that? Were they mad? Does anybody mad there? Or?
Yeah, security came and took us away, and
you know, they're having to deal with you.
Yeah. They're like, okay, jackasses. But no, as far as the boys, like, no, nobody was. Everybody was like, hey. We were like that too, and so very little of it was usable to begin with. But because then I forget. But there was a. It was called Cookie Gate, but there was something that I kept bringing up throughout the whole thing, because when we caught them on camera, was when they came out to eat. Like, they came out for their catering, and so we were outside with their catering, and oh man, what's that fish called?
Halibut.
Mahi Mahi.
Mahi Mahi.
Mahi Mahi. So they had Mahi Mahi as one of their protein selectables, you know what I mean? So I remember I made a big deal about it. I remember at TNA at the time, we got like a box lunch, and there was literally like a sandwich and an apple and a thing of chips. You know what I mean? It was literally like, and so when I saw that, I just started making fun of that the whole time. And I didn't know if it was funny or entertaining, but I had an okay time with doing it. But yeah, so Mahi Mahi is all I remember of the whole deal. But then they called it Cookie Gate. So I don't know. Maybe Mahi Mahi Gate as a mouthful.
Mahi Mahi Gate.
Yeah.
From the Observer, Conan, Ron Killings, and B.G. James are also involved and had a white flag with the idea the white flag balloons and cookies would show that they were coming in peace. There was some concern among those asked to come that with all the WWE's top stars there, including people like Angle and Undertaker, that if WWE responded physically, they were outmanned. And Vince was out by himself at one point, and the TNA guys were arguing whether to ambush him or not because they weren't ready and didn't. They waited for hours for him to come back out, and he never did. Did you see Vince that day?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't remember seeing, and truth be told, on a shoot like that, in my mind, the producers of it or the brains of the operation, the representative from creative, whatever, Russo and somebody else, maybe Borash or whatever, you know, somebody else. And I throw Borash's name in there, and I don't mean to. He may have been the guy, he may not have been. But there's a couple of guys that would have probably been having that conversation. Do we go right there? Is he right there? And talent may have been around the corner smoking a cigarette. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Like we're kind of waiting to be told what to do or whatever, you know. And so I don't remember seeing him, but I very well could have.
They mentioned Angle and Taker. Do you remember if you saw them?
No, I didn't see either one of them.
Would have been fun if they would have actually walked across the lot and confronted you.
They could have shot that.
That would have been awesome.
How about this for a Royal Rumble? And they would have just beat the crap out of us.
So besides security, you never talked to anybody from WWE coming over?
Yeah, some talent. Yeah, we did talk to some talent. I spoke to one talent, but I had to speak Spanish because he's a bit of a luchador. And then the other guy that we talked to, was Chris Jericho. And so,
Really?
so I'm pretty sure it was Chris, Benoit. You know what I mean? We saw
They just
a
saw
couple
y'all
of
and
guys.
just came to say hey.
They just came out to catering, and like
Yeah.
they didn't know what they probably thought, you idiots. You know what I mean? Like whatever.
Yeah.
But we knew some of them, and so like you said, there was K-Dogg and Truth and me, and so everybody knew somebody. You know what I mean? And so it was kind of like a, hey man, I wish we weren't doing this thing so we could just talk to you and say hey. You know what I mean? Like I wish we could just hug right now. Anyway, we just went back and ate box lunches. So.
Let's touch on something real quick.
Whoop.
Look, we bring up things before that the term is didn't age well in wrestling and many things and a lot of forms of entertainment. This would be one of them. I need to bring it up and just touch on it and move on. But
Yep.
Orton and Heidenreich came out and were nice to all the TNA guys. So the idea of some big confrontation fell apart, says the Observer. The only confrontation footage was when John Big Gabberick, you know Big John?
Yeah, I know Big John.
And of Tough Enough fame, he came out and was apparently pissed, and it was said so was Vince. The Observer says, I'd say WWE had a right to be pissed, except that what comes around goes around, and once they threatened a lawsuit if the footage wasn't given to them, they came across as crybabies. Of course, John Heidenreich, as we were talking about him, do you know they wrote him in WWE to have a scene with Michael Cole in the shower? Did you ever hear about that?
I did not.
He was supposed to accost Michael Cole in the shower. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
Okay.
What? I mean, even hearing the idea was talked about so much that somebody outside of the room heard it. You know what I mean? Like that's I don't know what I don't know what time period that was at, or and we probably weren't public at the time.
What was your experience with John Big Gabberick?
I only worked with him on a production, like a professional standpoint, so I don't know the dude that much. I don't remember anybody being mad at us, but again, I probably wouldn't have.
Or it's just somebody stirring up the dirt sheets.
Yeah, but maybe he was pissed, and maybe Vince was too. And like just like the dirt sheet said, they have perfect right to be. You know what I mean? Like we're interrupting what they're trying to do here, and they got a schedule, and you know what I mean? So I get it. They got union people that have to be cut off at 10 o'clock, and they got, so I totally understand any thing that impedes in that, especially in their perspective. This pissant wrestling company trying to get the rub from us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I totally get their frustration, and rightfully so. But that's what the next person said. What goes around comes around is because look, it was a fly on the wall. It was a gnat in the air compared to driving a tank down the opposition's entrance ramp. You know what I mean? like so it was a little bit of your own medicine, but not very much of it.
Let's continue from the Observer. Gabberick told the TNA guys that if any of the footage is ever used, that the WWE would sue them. Saudi kept filming away, and when Gabberick talked about suing, the TNA guys called up Jerry Jarrett, and he said they have lawyers too, and to keep filming. I don't know what form this will take or if any of the footage will end up airing. I was told that whatever TNA was trying to accomplish ended up as more of a joke than anything. Do you remember ever Jerry Jarrett having to be called?
No. But again, I wouldn't be the one that would have called him. So I don't know whose story that is, but look, it sounds like it was somebody's somebody close, you know what I mean? It sounds like it was somebody close to the occasion, because they knew some stuff like that I didn't even know, and I was on site, you know what I mean? But like I said, sometimes we were in the trailer for 10 minutes because it's AC in there, you know what I mean, or whatever, and so they're out there trying to call shots and trying to make decisions on the fly, and oh, there he is, and so all of that could be true, and I just wasn't privy to it, you know what I mean? And like I said, I didn't think anybody was mad at us, but I can understand big, being pissed because he was in charge of the production of all that. It's a lot going on.
Well, this is a fun one. This is some more juicy details behind the scenes.
Good.
The next day, WWE Intellectual Property VP, I'm going to mispronounce it, Bella Caracas.
Not sure.
You know that person?
I'm not sure. No.
Bella apparently sent TNA a letter that to avoid legal action, TNA needed to not only agree to never use the video footage, but surrender the footage to WWE within 7 business days. They hadn't done so as of this week, from the Observer back then.
Wow.
While most accounts were that TNA's attempt to recreate when DX invaded Nitro was completely lame, I can't even believe how lame WWE's response is for anyone who has the slightest memory of 1998. Remember how WWF cried when Bruce Pritchard and company were told to stop filming at CNN Center, and when WCW called security when WWF was filming at the WCW corporate offices, and how they made fun of it on air. Dog, that's what you alluded to, Dog.
Yeah.
What goes around comes around.
Yeah. Well, and I don't a lot of that I don't know a lot of that, those references that they're making there. It's above my head still. But that's the sentiment. Like, oh, we're just another company trying to get some attention, man, and just and we used you guys to get it. It's what is it? Muddy politics. It's dirty politics.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that dirty. We didn't, and I don't even know, like I said earlier, what actually aired and what actually didn't air.
Well, here we go. We'll get to that on
we're
the
gonna find out.
11/6 tapings. Mike Tenay announced that fans could vote on the website whether they want to see the footage or not. Bob Carter has given the company the go-ahead to air the footage, even with the WWE threats, and of course fans will vote to see it, and of course it will air against WWE's wishes. TNA wants to turn it into a major issue, and I'm guessing they will acknowledge and possibly even read the WWE's letter threatening to sue on the air. This is starting to smell like an angle here.
Yeah. Well, and it's also, look, you immediately cast your company as the underdog when you start reading their legal threats to you, and you go like, oh, big corporate wrestling is beating us little boys up down here. You know what I mean? Like, you definitely position yourself like, oh, and a lot of people would take that and go like, oh, yeah, it is a big corporation picking on the little guy, and it's not. They own the intellectual property of those individual talents, and so you're not allowed to show them on your show. And truth be told, I think we showed them but blurred their faces out or something. I don't know where I saw that in my head. There's an image of that, but I may be hitting my head too many times.
Well, this is where TNA is going to have some fun here. This is from our friends over at The Torch. TNA played into the situation with a humorous press release issuing a apology. That's their quotes, not the Observer. They put it in apology in quotes. To Vince McMahon and WWE in response to media reports about a misunderstanding that occurred at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida this past Wednesday. TNA Entertainment issued an apology to Vince McMahon and WWE for what was apparently a mistakenly perceived hostile act. This is some fun stuff. In the press release, Shane Douglas stated, I was disheartened. If our kind gesture was mistakenly perceived as threatening and hostile, we sincerely apologize.
That's
BG James.
Hey, and you can tell that's from Shane's heart. You know what I mean?
It really is.
Yeah.
Let's see if this is from your heart, because you said, personally, I just wanted some Mahi Mahi after seeing WWE's catering spread. The only thing I had to eat all day was a stinking cold sandwich from a cheap freelance producer. Now I know how the other half eats.
Yes. Yes, that is from me.
The press release said the silent abyss, quote, was seen with a tear in his eye, still clutching the very same balloons that no one from WWE wanted. This is so good.
It's actually as good, but it's
it's funny.
It's
funny. The TNA concluded the press release. Some things in life are consistent. Success breeds envy. The bully always picks on the little guy, but we all know how the story of David and Goliath ends. Incredible that you still remember going in the Mahi Mahi quote.
Yeah. That's what that was the whole deal to me. It was like,
This?
for one thing, I didn't know what Mahi Mahi was, so it sounded like an eloquent fish. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's
Mahi Mahi, dude.
yeah, it's like from Francisco the Third's. Anyway,
Muffy, bring me my dining dish with some Mahi Mahi.
I'd like
please.
some Mahi Mahi eggs.
And some cream of tartar.
Ooh, making me friggin' hungry.
Less than a week later, TNA issued another press release stating that WWE had sent a letter signed by Bella Caracas, WWE VP of Intellectual Property, demanding the surrender of the video footage shot the previous Wednesday. The press release states WWE demanded the forfeiture of the video footage within 7 days or they would file a lawsuit. Competition is great and makes the wrestling category stronger as a whole, but obviously we are the only ones who feel that way, said Shane Douglas. We attempted to extend a hand and were disappointed by the treatment we received in our own backyard. This is great.
Man.
Fox Sports edited out TNA's internet poll segment on Friday's Impact, where they were asking fans if they should air footage of TNA invading WWE Royal Rumble commercial when they shot at Universal Studios, due to the language in the segment that stated that WWE had threatened to sue TNA's effing asses.
Oh,
Fox
oops.
Sports dropped the segment even though it was already edited and even though TNA was unaware of this until it aired on Friday. TNA said they will go ahead with their internet poll. Do you remember anybody talking about this backstage?
I do
Dog?
not. I do not. But again, above my pay grade, and I was out of my mind.
The payoff is Turning Point in December. The show was filled with comedy knocks at WWE. They had a guy, ring announcer Tim Welch, dressed up as Vince McMahon, coming in a limo with a supposed Triple H. Do you remember who that was?
I don't.
Johnny Devine of Team Canada.
Oh, yeah. I know Johnny Devine.
He had a wig and a sledgehammer in the coming out of the limo. They were reminiscent of the...
This is totally Russo. There's just screams of Russo.
They said they were reminiscent of the Billionaire Ted skits that WWE put on its show when it was losing the TV wrestling war to WCW. Then they had Abyss bring the supposed Vince, called Vince McDaddy, with the water spitting guy using a Triple H voice as his useless son. They had the Vince character wanting to see Dusty Rhodes immediately, but Rhodes blowing him off. It ended up with the Triple H character getting a videotape and smashing it with his sledgehammer, only to find out it was a Best of D-Ray 3000 tape. That's so good.
Do you know who D-Ray 3000 is?
No.
Oh, Dom, you have to have a picture of D-Ray 3000 somewhere, and we'll just keep talking, and you throw it up whenever.
Oh my gosh. Vince later was mad that there wasn't catered food, saying he needed protein every 3 hours, meat, fish, lobster, and then got mad when Tracy Brooks brought him a batch of cookies and threw them on the floor. The skits concluded with T.O. the Midget beating up Vince, who again screamed that he would sue, and as he was writhing in pain said, "Where's my son-in-law, that idiot?" And he ended up being taken to the hospital. Triple H wasn't there because he was at the gym. I love you going, this is all Russo.
Yeah. Well,
That explains all of that paragraph.
Yeah, you can tell, and it's not bad. It's just you feel it. You know what I mean? You can go like, okay, that's where we're going.
There's
D-Ray.
What's going on? Tell us about D-Ray 3000.
So this is a thing that he's kind of doing now, kind of a throw off of Show Nuff from the movie The Last Dragon. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
Dude, it's awesome.
Now that you said that, I see
You
where
are
he's
the
going.
last dragon. You make the power of the glow.
When you said D-Ray 3000, though, I didn't expect the
didn't
Last
expect
Dragon
that?
rip-off.
Yeah. He wasn't that in TNA, but he could work, man. He's a good dude too.
Was that wasn't his current? That wasn't his look back then.
No, he wasn't then. I think he probably would have had some copyright issues. This is kind of his independent, like Matt Cardona's the indie god, ripping off Indiana Jones. But you only get sued if you're, there it is.
Whoa.
Sure enough. Kiss my Converse. You don't remember that when he said that? And he made him kiss his Converse. But then...
who's his crew with him?
Oh, dude, then at the end, Bruce Leroy had the power of the glow, man, and he started moving his arms, and all of a sudden they just started... Whoa, 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 and... Oh, dude, I'm going to go watch it right now. What a great movie.
The Last Dragon or the Best of D-Ray 3000?
Both. I would love to see both, to be quite honest. I'm going to watch the movie first, though.
They eventually showed a relatively innocuous and almost useless footage that they took a few weeks back when WWE shot its Royal Rumble commercial at Universal Studios. Luckily, due to 3 Live crew making jokes about stealing the WWE's catered Mahi Mahi, it wasn't a complete dud. Boy, the Mahi Mahi took over.
Well, that's what I'm telling you, is it was at least entertaining because it was nothing. Right. So it was some jabs,
all this is
shadow boxing,
shadow
boxing, all for naught. But I appreciate the airline ticket and the extra night in the hotel and the box lunch as well. But we tried to make it entertaining, and that was I think that's what at the end they said wasn't a total loss. It was kind of funny. You know what I mean? Like, that'll settle. That'll do that. That'll do, pig.
That'll do, pig. They digitized the faces out to avoid the threatened lawsuit of both Luther Reigns and Rey Mysterio. Boom. Rey Mysterio and, of course, Conan have been best friends dating back to the late 80s. They trained together under Mysterio's uncle in Tijuana and were acting like best friends, while B.G. James joked that Mysterio being nice to them is a ring offense.
I don't know what a ring offense is.
While Reigns' voice was a giveaway, it's doubtful almost anyone would know he was there. With Mysterio, with his voice and his arm tattoo, let alone how many 5'2" wrestlers are there in the WWE, it was obvious it was him. Overall, the skits were a lot funnier than most of the Billionaire Ted stuff, and even much of the ECW parodies on the big companies that were done in the 90s. When it was over, Mike Tenay made a joke about the threatened lawsuit, saying it's not like we brought a tank to their headquarters, in reference to DX coming to the WCW headquarters in Smyrna, Georgia, and to CNN Center in the 1998 skits.
But I also was involved in another little skirmish in the Middle East. Anyway.
You've been in many invasions.
These 2 invasions were important too, I guess.
Double J, Jeff Jarrett here to tell you about SaveWithConrad.com. You've heard Conrad talk about the total nonstop savings they provided current homeowners. But did you know Conrad and his team can also help my world listeners become homeowners? They make buying a home easier than getting the bag after a good housekeeping match. But don't take the Last Outlaw's word for it.
Franklin Dove, Orlando, Florida. After listening to all of Conrad's podcasts and hearing the different stories that he shared, I felt the time was right for me to explore buying a home again, and reached out, and one thing led to another, and finally closed last week. It was excellent. Everything flowed smoothly from my first contact. I just put in the initial request online. Francis reached out. We started the application process, got the approval moving. Holly was great. Larry Thompson was amazing. Everything was smooth. Communication was perfect. Really, it was a much better experience than anything that I could have imagined. My name is Franklin Dove in Orlando, Florida, and I got into my dream home thanks to SaveWithConrad.com.
That's right. In my world, it doesn't get any better than 5 stars. Don't let your landlord get over on you. Walk out on that bad deal and stop throwing your money away on rent today with SaveWithConrad.com. That's right. It's SaveWithConrad.com.
NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!
Do you think anyone would have known Luther Reigns if you hadn't digitized his face?
I'm going to be honest with you right now, and I'm probably going to make somebody mad. Somebody named Luther Reigns. if you didn't digitize his face, I wouldn't have known who. You know what I mean? Like I don't know who that is now to this day. So,
Dom, get you some Luther Reigns, my friend.
does he still work here? Is he related to Roman?
He is 51. He's 6'5", 285. He went as
night.
Inspector Max Impact.
Wow, that's a pretty cool name.
Do you know Inspector Max Impact?
I don't, but I'm not sure I want to either. Where does his impact that is at its maximum capacity, where is that impact at? You know what I mean?
He trained at the WCW Power Plant, Ultimate Pro Wrestling, and Navajo Warrior.
Oh.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Big dude.
I do remember him. Big dude. Listen, Eddie, can you have a good match with this guy?
Yeah, he can have a good match with everybody.
You're talking to Eddie Guerrero, for the love of God.
All right. Dog, do you look back on it? Is this your highlight of your TNA run? I can't even say it.
Can I ask you a question right now?
What?
Is that in the notes? Does it say, is this the highlight of your
I'm not
team?
going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. I want you to answer. Is this?
Let me think about that.
Think about it. What's bigger? I mean, Mahi Mahi got over, son.
It was momentarily over socially, I think.
Yeah.
But that doesn't turn into financial security. But yes.
Wait.
But yes.
Was arm wrestling your dad in TNA?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I always think about.
So look, I totally forgot about that. But my best thing in TNA, and maybe, well, definitely, there's a top three, and my dad inducting my dad into the Hall of Fame, and what were we just? I'm sorry. What were we just talking about?
Top TNA arm wrestling.
Yeah. And then getting to work with my dad in a tag match. We came out with the Marine Corps emblem. I mean, the Marine Corps ensign and stuff. It was really cool. But this was fun. This was fun. I remember it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Through a haze of drug addiction and alcoholism, I remember this time. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. Yeah, maybe it was one of my highlights of TNA.
All right, here's what we've got, Dog. We've got some fan questions before we get out of here.
Okay.
And speaking of the fans, right after the questions, we're going to go GOAT names because you asked for everyone to send in possible GOAT names. Actually, I did, and you agreed to it.
Yeah, I love the idea.
We're going to get GOAT names. We've got it. We've assembled some, and we're going to toss them out to you and see what you think about any of them. You can give them a thumbs up or thumbs down.
I think we gotta just to be honest. I don't know. This one airs a week from when we're talking.
Yeah.
So if I have goats, I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I'm not a goat OBGYN. But but my wife seems to think she is. So she thinks they're coming any day now. We are literally on goat baby watch. We have isolated said mother goats. Excuse me. We cleaned out the stalls. We fresh hay. They're in there. They're alone so they can have their babies safely. We are ready. But my point with saying all that is, one, we're short on time and I can go as long as I want with just some bull crap. Yeah. And two, I totally forgot what I was talking about. No, two, it'll give everybody else maybe another chance. So it's more names to choose from. But then at the end of this, we choose and I'll tell you, these are many, these are dwarf
pygmy.
I'll find out. It might be dwarf pygmies, but I'll find out their actual names from my wife. She knows them, and their names are Roxy and Gretel, are the two that are having
Roxy
babies.
And Gretel.
Yeah, and Gretel last time had 3 babies. This is her second.
Do they have more on the second go?
I don't know. I don't know if they have more. They have less. Usually it's 1, 2, or 3. I think.
Does she have a wide stance about her?
We shall see. She does. And she has a wide belly about her. And you have to look at their back end because their back end starts to blossom a little bit, starts to open a little bit. And if you go up above that on their backbone, you can almost feel their hips separate. You know what I mean? Like they're getting ready. You know what I mean? Like it's
transformation is in progress.
It's moving. And so it's really cool. I don't know, just to watch that process and to see it, and then to go out there and see. Look, and sometimes there's one that doesn't make it, and it's heartbreaking and all that. But we love it. You know what I mean? And we love these little stupid goats, and we're going to name them. We're going to let you name them. Anyway.
All right, we're going to get to that. Let's wrap up these questions about TNA, and then we're going to run through some goat names. Carl Hayes hit us up over on Ad-Free Shows. Thank you for that, Carl. He said, if Casio was to be part of the invasion, what would his role be?
Rolls. I think you would have just had a basket of rolls, and it would have been like Lambert's, where you just chunk them at the people. You know what I mean?
Road rolls.
Do you ever been to Lambert's?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they just chunk the rolls
right
at
your
you.
table, son.
Yeah,
home of the throwed rolls.
Yeah, yeah, I love it.
Brad Stanton wants to know, what's the next invasion? Do you think that angle will ever be tried again? Right? It's got to. Right? Everything gets tried again. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, when, who knows? Who knows? But I guarantee you it's coming.
Dylan he said, who from that era of TNA did Dogg think could have gone on to be a superstar and did, or who didn't?
I'll tell you what, that AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, they could have been somebody if they'd have stuck with it.
They turned out all right.
They were all right. They did pretty good for themselves.
If you're into long careers. And
Sting is kind of still doing his thing, I guess.
But young guys were AJ, right? AJ and Samoa.
Yeah. Look, there was a lot of young guys. To tell you the truth, a lot of young guys that. So to me, it was the X Division show. It was one of those things that gave a lot of those smaller guys who could work really good a platform to on television. And so I there was a lot of guys, man, that are still in the game because they were good at it. Christopher Daniels, I think Dusty Rhodes was there for a minute.
It's pretty good.
No, but I can't think of anybody right now. But look, everybody came and went through there, and so back to the original point was the X Division, man. That's what I loved about WCW during the wars, was their smaller guys and their luchadors, basically. And I think that's what, like I said, TNA gave a platform to a lot of smaller guys. I think about the Motor City Machine Guns and just all of those X Division guys that were great and worked circles around me, but were just doing indies and stuff because they weren't going to get on at WWE, and WCW was just bought or whatever. You know what I mean? When I don't even remember what year this was, but I think it gave a lot of guys a platform. So there were a lot of guys there, to my point, where either they did make and become a superstar, or they work behind the scenes still at one of the major companies.
Hey guys, Tony Schiavone. Need to call a timeout real quick. Wanted to tell your listeners what I've been telling What Happened When listeners for a while now, about all the cool things happening over on adfreeshows.com.
On the latest edition of The False Finish, Zach Gowen talks about reaching the top of the pro wrestling world against incredible physical odds before issues with immaturity got in his way.
It's not a talent issue, it's a maturity issue. We want to see you continue to wrestle, try new characters, become a heel, try new things, find a groove. The door is open. Just mature a little bit, but it was almost fatherly, the way he sat me down and explained to me exactly why I was being released, and I'll always remember that, and I'll always thank Jim Ross every time I see him for that.
As Dogg and Casio finished up their latest Ask Dogg Anything, they kept the party going for Ad-Free Shows members, answering more questions on a bonus overrun.
We were the main event. Me and Brian Christopher were the main event. Doug was in an up there match. Jamie Dundee was in a tag title match, I'm sure. And we just stopped and started playing pool and drinking. Like, that was what we did. We pulled through the median and turned around and just called from a payphone and said, yeah, our car can't make it.
That's just a small taste of what we got waiting for you With 4 levels to choose from, see for yourself why ad-free shows is the best value in wrestling today. Sign up now at adfreeshows.com.
Speaking of, how about a little Sanjay Dutt was there at one point?
Sanjay Dutt is talking. That's another example. Like he's just a great person and a great wrestler, a great entertainer. He's got a great mind. Huge fan of Sanjay Dutt.
Petey Williams, Chris Sabin, Lethal, of course, was there at one point.
There we go. We're talking about all of them. Low Key, all the guys. And like I said, 90% of those guys are still involved in the industry in one way or another, kind of an important way, you know.
EY, Eric Young, of course, always great.
Yeah. Always.
Psychosis had a run. Jerry Lynn, Austin Aries, Low Key, like you mentioned. So that X division.
So many. Yeah. So many came through there. And if you go back and watch some of those early X Division championship matches where they had the crossed rafters or whatever, and some of those stuff AJ and Elix Skipper and all those guys were doing, Christopher Daniels, all those guys. Incredible stuff.
All right, Dog. Before we get out of here and do the goats, next week we're going to be talking all things.
Wait, did we do, because that felt like...
We got a lot of things, but what?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That felt like what?
An Ultimate X match is what I was talking about. The X Division. Yeah, so that sounded cool.
Bring them all in for like a X Rumble or something.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was like really cool from what I remember. It was really, you should have been there. Right after that, I peed in Raven's hat. Just kidding.
Well, you should have been there. I think you were. Hell in a Cell 2018.
HIAC.
Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton in the Cell. Charlotte versus Becky. AJ against Samoa Joe. How'd that we just mentioned them.
Talked about
Daniel
them.
Bryan and Brie Bella taking on Miz and Maurice. And Roman Reigns defends the Universal Championship in a Hell in a Cell against Braun Strowman with Mick Foley as the ref.
Yeah.
There's a lot of meat on that bone, son.
I'll tell you what, that sounds awesome.
Whoever was helping with that at that time probably had their hands full.
Man, but it sounds like they really know what they're doing. I don't know who's in charge at this time, but man, that sounds like a great card.
Give a shout out to our friends over on adfreeshows.com.
Ad-free shows.
This episode and more early. Ad-free access to more than a dozen of your favorite wrestling podcasts starting at just $9. That's less than 20 cents per episode each month. And that's not all.
That's
Ad-free shows is loaded with exclusive bonus audio and video content
Dom,
you can't
make a
hear
note.
anywhere else.
I'd like to negotiate 30 cents per episode.
Really? You want to bump it up a little bit?
Yep. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just want to make a note of that.
That is now on the record. You can check out the book with David Crockett, The Insiders with Conrad Thompson, Ask Conrad himself, Monday Mailbag with Mike Chioda and myself and Nick Patrick.
It's not a cookbook. It's David Crockett. It's not Betty Crockett. It's different.
Tuesdays with the Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan. I just did a Q&A with Larry Zabisco. I just did a Q&A exclusive with JR over there, so a lot going on. You can attend live recordings of the podcast and be a part of live Q&As, like I just mentioned, and watch alongs with your favorite host and a whole lot more. It's all waiting for you over.
It's not. I mean, I know it's a read, and we're plugging next to the deal, but truth be told, that's a lot of goddamn content for $9.
Incredible.
You know what I mean? And a lot of minds in the industry. Take mine out of this conversation that were really good and really pivotal in places that were really booming from time to time in the industry. So just I don't know, man. It's an incredible deal for $9 to get all that content. So right, wrong, or indifferent.
Also, if your business targets 25 to 54-year-old men, there's no better place to advertise than right here with us on Oh, You Didn't Know. You've heard us do ads for some of the same companies for years. Why is that? Because it works. It
works.
With our super targeted audience, there's very little waste. So go to advertisewithdogg.com. That's advertisewithdogg.com. And you can find out more.
Grow your business with us.
Hey, how cool would it be to have Road Dogg talking about your business? I mean,
especially if your business was like some kind of dog related something.
How about that?
Or maybe road. Maybe you're a road worker.
What if it's an event? What if it's a music festival? What if it's anything?
Right? Well, whoa, there's all kind of possibilities. I didn't think about that at all, Casio.
Come on.
Promote and let us promote your stuff, dude.
What if you sell honey out of your backyard?
I love honey.
Yeah.
I call my wife honey.
You'll do it for 30 cents in a jar of honey.
Especially if it's in one of them cute plastic jars that's in the shape of a bear.
I think we got to pay salespeople, so maybe a few jars of honey, but we can get you there.
Okay.
Yeah,
but I like it on toast. I'll tell you what I like to. I'm going to leave that for next episode.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to say from now on when I forget what I was going to say.
I'll leave that for
you know
next
what?
episode.
Teaser.
We're going to have so many loose ends by the end of this thing. He never finished. He never talked about it.
Like a spider's web. It's like we walked through a spider's web.
Also, if you saw, this is breaking news, Dog.
Is it?
If you saw our YTX a couple weeks ago, Road Dogg accidentally created a new character name for me.
Yeah.
And it was the Panty Fat Kid. And breaking news, we apparently have a logo hot off the press.
Okay.
We are supposed to
God.
accept or deny for merchandise.
Okay, so this is a creative decision we're making here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the Panty Fat Kid.
Have you seen it?
No, we're about to both see it for the first time.
Okay.
Here. Those are briefs.
I know, but I kind of like it.
I do kind of like
it. I kind of like it. All we got to do is take the hip up higher.
Yeah.
And take those little lines that are behind the logo off.
I would make it. I was going to say,
I got a little pair of panties.
Yeah. I'd say if you're going to keep that design, bring the bones in a little bit so it fits on that middle piece. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
If we're not going to turn them into panties. I mean, if you're going to be the Panty Fat Kid, you got to wear panties,
I feel like you got to have panties, but I don't want them to be like a thong or nothing like crazy. Yeah. Like just a respectable, conservative pair of panties.
Just a normal, something white, something
just set of panties, man.
Yeah. What's the scene in the old school where he's talking about he's in therapy and he's talking about the waitress? Maybe she's got on regular white panties. I don't know. You know, he just starts going off.
He's so funny, man.
All right, we got to get to goat names here before we get to Top Dog.
Was there a 5-star?
We got we got a lot to get to. We got a lot.
Is that one of my goats?
Is it, or is that just a goat?
Or is that just a goat?
Dominic, is that a random goat? Is that a rando goat? No, rando goat.
Just Google. Put it back up there. I'm going to talk about this goat for a second.
Looking goat.
So I have a goat that almost looks identical to this. He's bigger now, but we weathered him, and what that means is he is no longer a male or female, but his name is Peanut Butter.
Sure.
And you see that, right?
Because turned his
no
peanuts into butter.
I'm not sure what happens to them. They just drop off.
Hey, can I tell you?
At a certain point.
Most insane story I've ever been a part of.
Right now?
And it's based off of what you just said.
Okay.
I was with my buddy David Lynham, a musician, also comedian. They were trying to get into the stand-up world, but he and his wife they still do. They got pigs, goats. They got everything. One day we're over there, and he starts explaining we're in the process of weathering our goat. Does that mean you just leave him out in the rain? I don't know what that means. And he says, no, you do a rubber band, basically.
Yep.
Around the boys.
Yep.
And then that cuts off blood flow.
Yeah.
And then nature takes over, and it just happens.
They just drop off, and you don't even know when or where or what.
Well, that was my question. I said, when's this going to happen? I'd like to be around here. I want to see this process. And he said, literally should happen, if not today, tomorrow. Like, it should have already happened. We're in go mode.
Yeah.
And within 5 minutes, I heard, and we looked down in front of us, and
his boys were on the ground.
Yeah, the boys were there, and it blew my mind. And then his pig walked up and ate him and kept walking. That's a true story. 100% true story.
Don't doubt that a bit. Pigs will eat a person in a heartbeat.
He just kept walking too, and I went, this is the most, nature is cruel.
Oh, it is.
Nature is cruel.
Mother Nature, you. Why, yeah, you oughta. Yeah, no, it's a vicious world out there. And look, I'd see that with the raising my puppies and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, the puppy doesn't give a crap about that. I'm worried about it. You know what I mean? Like the puppy didn't need the heating pad and with the vibrating part on. Like it doesn't need that.
By the way, we've had puppies before heating pads.
By the way, the puppy's on a heating pad that vibrates. And so that's that.
All right, let's get to some possible goat names.
Okay.
So we can start dwindling down your best of list.
This is the PGN, possible goat
We
names.
have not seen these either, so me and you have no idea what's about to pop up. Here we go. Possible tater tot.
Tater tot. Okay.
Not bad.
Not bad. I like a tater tot. I like it dipped in ketchup, as you know. I also like chili and cheese on top of them.
Oh, my gosh.
From Sonic with Water and Nerds.
If you'll ask them to put nerds in your chili cheese
Billy the Kid.
Josh Hanney with Billy the Kid. That's pretty good.
That is very good.
All right.
I don't think we've had a Billy, and that's weird since my partner was Billy, not Chuck.
Friend of the show, Ed, Little Jimmy.
Oh, now he's just being personal and inflammatory. Perfect. It's great. Look, we're going to have to go through all of these great ones and then make a heart-wrenching
John
decision.
Owen, Bullet Bab. Bullet Bab.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I'm not naming my goat that, but that one wins in my mind. That one wins.
Bab.
I think I would end up having to say that every time. And
Hector Mesa said Kid Sop. Oh, that's good.
Kid Sop. I get it.
That's
that is
pretty
good. That is clever, actually. I misread it because of my dyslexia.
Adam Ozer Krasnov, Rockabilly.
Billy Goat, Rockabilly. I love it.
I think one of those is in there. Oh, Fergal McDivitt.
Fergal McDivitt.
Carl Hayes with a vote for Fergal.
Well, you know what? Fergal always gets a vote with a thumbs up.
What else we got? Tony Flower, BTH.
Oh.
Better entertainer than Hart. Call her Beth.
Beth.
Wow. I mean, you're going to have some female goats here.
Well, let me be honest. One of them's going to be called Beth.
Is it real? Oh, very nice.
No, we're not just going to say it like that. We got to do a hat draw or a tumbler. Number 64.
All right, what do you got? Is that it? We got more? Plus, Lindsay, I mean, Cupcake sounds like an excellent name. Nice.
Probably. You know what? God,
pretty good.
Cupcake. So hungry for cupcakes.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that is a good name, right? Especially for a little cute girl. Cupcake. That's it for now. So look.
I saw one that got left off, Badass Billy Goat.
Oh.
That's what I thought we were going to get to.
Badass Billy Goat. See, it's just a mouthful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're trying to say it. Yep.
Okay, we're going to work. Hey, look, we're going to get the list. We're going to peruse it.
Get the list. Hey, yeah, like you said, they might not have had them by now.
They might not have them next
send
week.
Them in.
Yeah, continue to send in because those are some really good, clever ones. But I think the one is out there.
Fox Pug said, "I'd name it Pumpkin. Nothing clever about it, just cute."
Just cute. I saw that earlier on Twitter, and I actually, my daughter's Roomba or whatever it is, that little vacuum remote or a robot vacuum that goes around your house and cleans. Yeah, hers is named Pumpkin. Mine's named Hazel.
Is it?
I call mine Hazel.
Ollie Jacobs said Badass Billy Goat. Coach Rosie said Yeti Spaghetti.
know what that means, but that
By the way,
sounds awesome. It's
I was
just
about
fun
to say,
say.
I'm picturing you in the yard yelling Yeti spaghetti.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sounds awesome.
All Things New said, given your partnership with Billy Gunn, the baby goats are called kids. What about Billy the Kid or badass Billy Gunn?
That's another good one.
Dodge Ram, Rambo, Rambunctious, and Scapegoat. And he put, you didn't know, EWE.
EWE.
How about that?
Hey, this cat's clever. What's his name again?
That was
Jodeci 469?
All Things New, but its Twitter handle is Pub Caps and Hoodies.
Pubs, caps, and hoodies.
There's a lot going on there.
They're rollies but goodies. Hey, sorry.
All right, so we got a list. We got a working list. You can still tweet us and interact
talk
with
about
us
a
there.
working, living thing is this list. It should be like a Google document.
Yeah, always growing, just like the goat's
growing.
hips.
Wait, big
blossoming.
What? Huge.
The list should blossom, as
list.
you said.
Big list. Got it.
Yeah, big list.
I wasn't sure.
Be sure you follow us on social media where you can interact with us like that. At Brian R.D. James, at The Casio Kid, at You Didn't Know Pod for the podcast itself, of course. And we encourage you to like, subscribe, and leave a 5-star rating on all platforms.
Yeah, 5-star rating, even if you hate it. You know what I mean? Just do it for me.
It seems small, but it is something huge you can do for the show.
Yeah.
And that is like, subscribe, comment below.
Leave a comment.
And leave a 5-star rating wherever it is. And you could be, like this next person, our 5-star review of the week before we...
Man, you know what? You slipped that in there prettier than a $2. Anyway, go ahead.
Old Man Mesa says,
I love
this
him already.
podcast is for those of us looking for a laugh while still learning to be human. This podcast, how about that? This podcast is for us sophisticated outlaws looking for a break from all the terrible news playing 24/7. This podcast will teach you to make pizza roll garlic knots and freeze some. Never mind. Greatest pod on ad-free shows. Old Man Mesa, thanks for that.
Hey, yeah, thank you so much, sir. Because look, and that's he gets it.
Yeah.
Look what we are, right? That's what it is. It is what it is, and what you see is what you get, man. And we do have a good time, and we are learning to be human. And you do need to take a break from all the chaos in the world to explore some of that. You know what I mean? Maybe with a couple of dudes. And so whatever, man. We'll talk some wrestling, talk about shaving your stuff and whatever, you know. It's all
like
good.
we say, man, for both of us, this is a highlight of one of the highlights of our weeks, and we get to, and it is a release for us too.
Yeah.
We get to sit down and just have fun for
sometimes
an hour.
a full frontal release. So it's
you got a wide stance.
Yeah, if you got we go back, Jack, and do it again.
All right, before we do our top dog and get out of here, I want to remind you about our friend who recently joined us in one of our YouTube exclusives.
Could you believe
Conrad
that?
Thompson. How about that?
Oh, Conrad joined in and paid $10.
Yeah, just to confirm it was him. He had to pay his friends $10. That's how good of a dude he is.
He's a good dude. He buys me lunch. He pays me on $10 on my Snapchats or whatever we're doing.
Well, check him out. Right now, your home is probably worth more than it has ever been. Combine all your debts into one monthly payment, or maybe do all those home upgrades. Maybe you want your own goat farm you've always dreamed of.
Yeah.
On
Get you
top
a couple
of that,
acres. Hey, buy dirt.
buy dirt.
Yeah, there's a song there.
You can also skip 2 house payments as well. Put that newfound equity to work by going to savewithconrad.com, and be sure you tell him you heard Road Dogg and Casio bragging about him. He'd greatly appreciate that.
Yep, he's a good dude.
All right, dog, before we get out of here, be sure everybody goes to youtube.com/DOGG for our YouTube. So if you're not watching, you can watch our beautiful faces over there. All our merchandise, soon to be Panty Fat Kid, will be a box of gimmicks.
It's almost hard to say.
It is. I almost mispronounced your mispronunciation of another gimmick.
Oh, Lord. The
Box of Gimmicks is where you can find all of that. But, dog, before we get out of here, the new top dog.
The new gears.
There you go.
Hey, so my wife and daughter are still, like, really wanting some of this stuff. So I guess I should send you a reply to your text and tell you which ones I want, huh?
You'll get you jars of honey and some of your own merchandise. That's how you're getting paid, son.
Well, do you want the dog to play with you or not? You got to put honey somewhere.
BoxingGimmicks.com. You can check that out. All right, dog, before we get out of here, we like to spread positivity.
Sometimes I pop myself. Sorry.
You pop all of us. I got to keep it on the rails sometimes.
Okay.
I let it go off rails all the time.
I know, it's so much fun.
I was going to bring back another wide stance, right? There was a lot going on. All right. We got to spread
loved it.
positivity.
Yeah.
And that's why we do two things. One, Top Dog, so we can let you smash another sports entertainer and get the internet stirred up. And then end with our thankful minute. So first up, let's get our top dog. That's where I give you three names in the business. You tell me, are you a better sports entertainer than each of those individuals?
Let me just say before we start, for new viewers or listeners, verbiage and wording is very important here. We take it very seriously. So the word is sports entertainer.
Right. Not technical wrestler.
Not wrestler.
Not anything else.
Not wrestler. Not grappler.
Not announcer.
No, nothing. Sports
not commentator.
It's a very wide umbrella that I'm opening for myself.
A wide stance, if you will.
If you will.
Top dog today, dog. Are you a better sports entertainer than Nick Bockwinkel?
Oh no!
Look at that hair.
Look at that dude.
Boy,
I want to sleep with him.
God.
I just mean like in a bed next to him. You know what I mean? Like just.
Well, he keep you warm with that blanket.
I know
he's wearing
Hollywood.
on his chest. My man's got some.
Yeah, but it's sexy, right?
That's some
He's
good
like
salad.
Tarzan.
Yeah, that's a good salad right there.
Yeah,
I'm jealous of that salad.
Me too. Look at the hair. He's a good-looking dude. Hey, and he was great too. By the way, I just saw a poster online the other day. Somebody sent it to me. That had my dad, not Bully, he wasn't the Bullet this time, it was Bob Armstrong versus Nick Bockwinkel.
Wow.
Yeah, and the Funks versus the Assassins on top or something like that.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, it was a good card. I thought, dang, where did that happen at, you know? But yeah, Bockwinkel, no, I'm not as good as him. He was one of the original good ones.
All right. Number two, are you a better sports entertainer than Adam Cole? Baby.
Oh.
Now you spent some time working with him now.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no, I'm
what?
Gonna be, yeah, he, and this is just me being honest. He can work really good. That matters to me when I'm thinking about sports entertainer. He's really good in the ring. However, he's also, I would argue, a lot better than me on a microphone. Like his promo skills are impressive, and that's that.
Entertainer.
Like that's that, man. And he's also extreme. I can't say anything bad about the kid because he's extremely respectful and professional and can say everything you want him to say in exactly the tone you want him to say it in and never curse or never cross a sponsor line, you know what I mean, or never irritate the people, you know. So you never have to push the censor button on him. He's just extremely professional, respectful kid that has just incredible amount of promo skills. I can't sing his praises high enough. And the only negative about him at all is his size, and it doesn't seem to have held him back so bad. You know what I mean? Right. So kudos to him for all of his success. You smell terrific, Adam.
Dog, you're on the potential of going 0 for 3 here. That's never happened, I don't think.
Look, I'm trying to also be honest with you guys about stuff, and look, he's had a great career.
And still got a long career ahead of him.
Yeah, he's done really well for himself, man. And it's because of the person I just explained. That's the person I know. Yep. You know what I mean? And so I wouldn't dare say anything different because he's funny, he's engaging, he's personable, he's everything you would want in a friend, business partner, a wrestler. You know what I mean? Like all of these things, he's just great at. He isn't 6'3" and 250. And
Can we say this? He's a handsome dude.
Oh, he's great looking. His
I'm gonna
eyes,
look at him.
and I've looked him in the eyes and told him, I'm lost right now. I'm lost in your eyes right now. They are the most beautiful. It's the Blue Lagoon. You get lost in there. You know what I mean? There's a lady, and she's wearing like sheepskin underwear. She's the panty fat kid. I don't know.
Let's keep it going. Are you a better sports entertainer than the panty fat kid? No, I'm just- Here we go. That's the panty fat kid.
Crusher Blackwell.
We've mentioned this person in this episode.
Oh, really?
Yep. Dog, are you a better sports entertainer than Rey Mysterio?
No. Negatory, good buddy. I'm
619.
0 for 3. Ray is on another level, dude.
Man.
He made the world. And I don't know why it was problematic to begin with. David and Goliath is literally the oldest story in the book, and I don't know why it took so long or such a special individual to break every glass ceiling about being a little guy and working in this industry. You know what I mean? Like you literally see Ray and go like, that's the template. That's the template to be a smaller, I guess I'll say WWE superstar, but luchador, performer, pro wrestler, whatever you want to say, he's the template. I mean, I know Ray. Eddie is a different cat. Eddie was muscular. Eddie was bigger. Eddie was smaller than the Undertaker, but not Ray small. So there's a big difference to me between in the size gap, like not the pay gap, but the size gap. Like Ray is a tiny dude who's worked with every giant in the business and been great with every one of them.
Made it
and
believable.
made money for 30 years doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it don't get no better than that. And so to say my 2 years of hotness was good, was supersedes that is just to be a liar.
He's still doing it.
Oh, still, dude, he's the U.S. champion. He's the U.S. champion.
Yeah,
He's U.S. champion. He's U.S. champion.
That's a pretty good strap to have. You're gonna have one.
That is a good striz to his.
Oh, all right. There you go. But let's end on a high note. Let's end on a thankful minute where you spread positivity. You tell us 60 seconds what you are thankful for. Anything it can be, you want it to be in your life right now, Mr. Brian James. 60 seconds on the clock. Hit him with it.
Yeah, so I'm thankful for like my reality right now, where I'm at in my world, where I'm at in my life. I'm really excited about it. And look, we talked a lot about country songs and stuff, and there's one that says like, me and my wife are fall in love, and we're more in love than we've ever been, and we're, and so it's just us getting, like where I'm at in my life. I got 5 grandkids, and one of them pitched in a scrimmage game this past weekend and struck 2 kids out and got 2 doubles. And his opening ceremony is this week in Orlando, and me and my wife are doing all we can to drive down there and just stay a couple nights in the hotel to watch it and be there for opening ceremonies. But I'm thankful for being Paw, man. I'm thankful for all I have and all I don't have, because a lot I don't have, those were unanswered prayers that I shouldn't have got and I didn't need. I'm thankful for what I got.
Boom. Nicely done, sir.
Whew, I'm gonna throw up.
Well said.
Yeah, I am. And that's. I think that's the, they say that the Buddha or whatever says the destination is the journey. Like there's not a place you get to and go, here it is. It's the journey. And the quicker you can get peace of mind on that journey and about the journey, man, it's very liberating. And that may sound kooky and corny, but that's, I don't care. Suck it.
We had this is a fun one, man. It was a fun moment in time. TNA
You know what?
Invasion.
It was fun, and we both talked earlier about just being hesitant about. Oh man, I don't remember much about it, but I remembered enough because it was just a shoot. You know what I mean? It was just one little shoot that happened kind of off the cuff, and I've talked about it, Screaming Russo, because Russo is a shoot from the hip kind of guy, and he's a shoot and run kind of guy. Like, hey, just get a camera and come on, let's go. We got a picture, me and Jeff standing next to O.J. Simpson's house right after the murder went down with Vince Russo. So he's that kind of dude, and so that's one of the things I thought about, like this Screams Russo. So yeah, it was a good fun time, and I actually had a good time walking through it, and
how about the Observer? The Observer and the Torch both said it was funnier than all the other invasions.
Yeah. They both kind of put it over. I think it was like, but I also do feel like, oh, we're the underdogs throwing darts at the big guy and then saying like, oh, look at the big guy swinging at us. It's like, yeah, you swung at him first, dude. But you know what I mean? Like, so it was kind of the Torch and the Observer, kind of the underdog mentality, going, yeah, look at them, they're gonna sue them because they're, you know what I mean? But truth of it is, that's the law. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's legal, and so anyway.
All right, Dog. If y'all didn't like that, man, we had goats, we had everything.
Yeah, we had jokes, we had goats, we had Coke floats, we had Seasons in the Sun that did not rhyme with any of the other oat sounding things. But I do have like, if you want to transport something, you truck it, and if you didn't like this episode, you can suck it.
I don't know where he's going there.
I didn't either.